As cases of coronavirus continue to rise across the globe, local agencies are taking steps to get ready in case the disease ramps up here. Camera 7 South Sound reporter Shelby Miller shows us the preventative measures happening in the South Sound.
At Maple Lane Corrections Facility, the state health department is already taking steps to potentially turn this into an isolation and quarantine site. They've set up 3 RVs, a white tent, and extra fencing in case more coronavirus cases pop. Washington.
One case I know it is horrible, but I wish it was 0. But compared to what we're hearing around the world, maybe it's a good thing. And if it's isolated, maybe we can contain it.
Right now, the risk is low, but readiness is high. In South Thurston County, the State Department of Health set up RVs at Maple Lane, which is a Department of Corrections property. If needed, they'd use this site to isolate and quarantine people. Those in isolation would have potentially been exposed to the virus, have mild symptoms, and are unable to be isolated at home. People quarantined would have been potentially exposed to the virus, but have no symptoms and can't safely quarantine at home.
I kind of go back and forth on it. My concern is there's a couple schools really close, but at the same time, we have to do something. And I feel it's wrong to keep a lot of people, Americans especially, on these ships that are just incubators for the virus.
Tracks, and then right along here, right across from where this school is, or right on the other side of this mound, this train tracks. You get better in a minute.
And stuff. Fifth wheels.
Visitors parking where it says restricted area, keep out. Make up your fucking mind. Restricted area, keep out, or visitors parking.
Go straight. I want to read these signs, see what they say. Stop.
It's listed under the Department of Corrections. I told you, but they call it a school. If anybody wants to call, get information. This is just listed as a potential quarantine site. I got cobwebs on their camera.
And then she's got a
Between gate administration. This is a Maple Lane School. Interesting. At least they're finally letting people know their schools are prisons.
What do they have evil-looking dragons painted on them? You see that?
I thought it was graffiti when I first saw it. No, in the government? Say it ain't so. Oops, I'm going the wrong way, I think. There's the rec yard. Don't get caught slipping. You'll get shanked.
Why do they have such a huge huge
Oh,
facility, so that makes sense.
all right. Well, there you go. Maple Lane School is the place supposedly tapped to be a quarantine center. Let's reopen gate. But they love you. Don't forget to buckle up.
Wait, is it a jail? A prison, I mean?
Yes, I told you that.
But they call it a school?
Mm-hmm.
What in the world?
It's like a school. It says for mentally
Challenged or?
something.
A woman has been arrested again for violating quarantine after testing positive for COVID-19. Police arrested 37-year-old Kendra Burnett, saying she violated her court order to stay in quarantine. Officers were called to the Kroger on 2nd Monday morning, where they found Burnett leaving the store. Her attorney told officers she's refused to self-quarantine about 3 times now.
Gilbert woman arrested on the island of Oahu, accused of violating Hawaii's quarantine orders. Hawaii news station Keihan reports 18-year-old Eliza Alder arrived on the island on May 6th. We're told she posted several photos swimming on the beaches. Problem is, anyone who comes to Hawaii right now must self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Police say Alder didn't. She was arrested and could face some hefty fines.
A homeless man who tested positive for COVID-19 is speaking out after he was arrested for escaping quarantine at a temporary homeless shelter. News Channel 5's Alexandra Cohen spoke to him today as he walked out of jail, and he tells her he didn't know he was breaking the law.
A lovesick Perth man has become the first Australian to be jailed for breaking coronavirus quarantine laws. The father of 2 repeatedly snuck out of his hotel to see his girlfriend. Louise Rennie, he's copped a stint at Hakea Prison.
Michael, Jonathan David was just 5 days from freedom when he was busted breaking out of quarantine. He's now swapped his hotel room for a jail cell where it'll be a lot harder to sneak out. He's been slapped with a 6.5-month sentence, but will only have to serve 1 month of that behind bars.
Brooks County says anyone who tests positive for coronavirus and refuses to self-isolate could end up in jail. The Office of Emergency Management pointed to a Texas penal code saying a person commits an offense if he recklessly engages in conduct placing another in imminent danger of serious bodily injury. KSA.
Thousands of people are confined to their homes, but this pandemic is actually bringing freedom to some New York City inmates. Mayor de Blasio says 23 inmates who were considered a low risk to reoffend were actually released from jail over the weekend, released from Rikers Island and other facilities.
California is granting early release to 3,500 inmates in an effort to reduce crowding and the spread of coronavirus.
It seems strange to say it, but jail inmates might need to be released for the safety of the community. There's growing concern that jails are petri dishes where the new coronavirus can spread fast and drain healthcare resources and equipment needed elsewhere.
Governor Newsom has announced roughly 8,000 prisoners will be released to try to contain the COVID-19 outbreak at California state prisons. But is it too little too late?